Sup guys, it's me Charlie, and in about 22 hours, as you can see from the screen, we'll be entering a new Spotlight week featuring Scorn as the new card, Jean Grey and Sebastian Shaw. So in this video, I'll be doing a review on these three cards, whether this Spotlight week is actually, worthwhile or, kind of a skip. Now let's begin with Scorn. Description: when you discard this, return it to your hand and give +2 power to itself and one of your cards in play. Now I've actually done a full review on this card. The video is in the description, and TLDR, I think it's a very good it's going to be a very good card. Okay, maybe not necessarily immediately, because one of the main concerns that I have with regards to this card is what is going to be the second part of the deck. What is going to be the second half of the deck? Alright, it's not as simple as, oh, we just slot this into Apocalypse discard, because there are some issues, right? Why would I want to keep discarding Scorn when I can just, discard randomly across, potentially get Swarms, potentially get Proxima, which is a 7, compared to Scorn hitting that one discard is a +4, right? And Proxima is a free play in that sense. Alright, and in an Apocalypse discard, I want to hit Apocalypse. I want to hit Apocalypse so that it triggers Mobius again rather than focusing on Scorn. Okay, so there are some issues with regards to what kind of deck does Scorn actually fits in, right? But then again, if we were to look at Scorn even on just one discard, or just hitting one discard, his value becomes a 1/6, and on 2 discard is a 1/10. These are insane values. And can it be done? Yes, in fact, pretty easily. Alright, Colin Bean plus Blade, that's it. Alright, you play Colin Bean, you hit Scorn, it re-enters your hand at the rightmost side. You Blade, you hit it again. Okay, so it is a card that has fantastic value, and to achieve that value is not too difficult either. Right, and we haven't even considered things like Swordmaster, Modok, Gambit, things like that. Okay, so I do think that Scorn is a good card. The problem is whether can it find itself into a good deck, you see, and that means that there's a lot of experimentation. And who knows, in future we may find other supporting cards, other cards that blend well with, gel well with Scorn, right? Because sometimes it takes a little bit of time to get for decks to get going, right? Especially with Scorn, we are looking at a totally new way of playing, this card, alright, that mirrors Deadpool Destroy. Overall, I think this card, if you love this card, you'll get it. If you love experimenting with new decks, you would also want it, right? But if you're a little bit not a huge discard fan, and you're the type who like to wait and see, then it could be a little bit of a question mark for you with regards to Scorn, right? Because obviously Scorn is definitely going to be good. Scorn is definitely going to be a good card, a very good card. Alright, not necessarily immediately, not necessarily on release, but as we get more cards that can fit in with Scorn is definitely going to be a forgive me for making such a bold statement, but I think Scorn is definitely going to become an S tier kind of card. Now the next card is Jean Grey. Ongoing, players must play their first card here each turn, if possible. Now I bought Jean Grey for 3,000 tokens the moment she dropped to Series 4. I personally think that Jean Grey is a very strong card. The problem is that she is very polarizing. What do I mean by that? Jean Grey can be very, very strong, can be insanely strong, but she can also be insanely useless. What do I mean by that? Right, let's say you are playing Jean Grey and you are facing Hela, or you are facing Destroy. Well, Jean Grey is going to win you the game easily, right? Because if you are playing against Hela, you can channel where they play, you can Cosmo, and you can predict where their Hela is going to land, you Cosmo it, that's it. Basically, you won the game. You play against Destroy, you are forcing them into lanes, they can't get their destruction going. Alright, and in a Jean Grey ongoing, typically you also run armor, Cosmo, as I mentioned just now. When dealing with Hela, you have Cosmo. Alright, you put up armor, you put up Cosmo, Destroy is pretty much dead. But the problem is Jean Grey can also become totally useless. You take on a Silver Surfer deck, nah, they don't give a shit about your Jean Grey, they just Brute Mother and move on. You go up against a Tina deck, alright, they have Kitty, they keep playing Kitty, and basically that negates your Jean Grey. You go up against Zoo, alright, Zoo can play multiple cards, they don't really care where their cards land, alright, because they have things like Marvel Boy, Keza, Blue Marvel, Shana, these kind of cards, so they don't really care. Right, and that's when Jean Grey becomes utterly useless. So as you can see, Jean Grey can be a total game winner to totally not having any form of impact. So that is the problem with Jean Grey. You have to be accustomed to this kind of potential risks, potential gambles, right? But otherwise, I do think that Jean Grey is a very, very strong card. And especially if you are in pool 3, you still have not completed pool 3, you still have not completed series 3, a Jean Grey ongoing deck is one of the easiest and most budget friendly deck that you can run, and eventually still upgrade by getting things like US Agent, okay, and still continue to dominate even after you are series 3 complete, and you enter higher collection level, you're meeting people against higher collection level, a Jean Grey deck still works. Alright, so if you were to ask me, I think Jean Grey is a good card to have in your collection. And in terms of value, I think that Jean Grey is actually a 4.5, a series 4.5 if you were to ask me. She's definitely very strong for a series 4 card. Alright, but in terms of series 5, maybe not so much. I don't think anyone's going to be willing to spend 6,000 tokens on Jean Grey, but 3,000 easy. I shout that 3,000 tokens for Jean Grey without even much of a thought. Now we move to the final card, which is Sebastian Shaw. When this card permanently gains power, gain plus 2 more power wherever this is. Now I actually only bought 2 season pass cards. One is Miles Morales, the other one is Sebastian Shaw. Sebastian Shaw is crazy, alright. Sebastian Shaw basically made Surfer decks very viable again. Okay, because previously Surfer decks have had this problem of not having a huge bid stake, alright. So, it get outclassed. You have one lane whereby you have Brute Mother, but other than that, the other lane is pretty shaky. And Sebastian Shaw solves that problem. Right, so Sebastian Shaw is basically the reason why Surfer decks are so competitive, okay, and it is definitely needed. It is definitely needed if you like Surfer decks. It is also finding food in those hand buff decks, okay, hand buff decks as well. It doesn't necessarily even have to run in Surfer. Some people have been using Sebastian Shaw in hand buff decks, alright, just for the additional plus 2. And it's insane because it's huge. Sebastian Shaw is a very good value card in hand buff deck. Alright, imagine hitting it with, let's say, Gwenpool or Koye, alright, and gains an additional plus 2. It is also great value. Shaw becomes 3/8 easily. Alright, so Sebastian Shaw has actually it's not just it's not just a staple in Surfer decks. It is also finding way in hand buff decks, which I think is going to get stronger over time. Right, Second Dinner seems to want to look into that particular archetype. Alright, that's why we have Scarlet Spider. Scarlet Spider is a fantastic way. Alright, you buff Scarlet Spider duplicates a clone. That's fantastic for hand buff. Right, so I think that Sebastian Shaw is also a fantastic card to have in your collection. Right, definitely worth his status as a Series 5 card. And yeah, so overall a strong card as well. So now let's take a look at the entire week in itself. I think Scorn is going to be a fantastic card, S tier caliber in the future, not necessarily on right now on release. Right, Jean Grey, I would say that it's a series 4.5 kind of card, very very polarizing. But if you spend some time with Jean Grey, you'll actually enjoy playing her. Alright, and Sebastian Shaw, staple in Surfer decks, fantastic card in hand buff decks as well. So to wrap it up, as you can see, I have nothing but positive reviews for these 3 cards. Really, nothing but positive reviews for these 3 cards. So I do think that if you have the resources, this is a very simple, straightforward way. Do get the cards. The only problem is, if you are like me, You spent 3,000 tokens on Jean Grey, you bought Sebastian Shaw, and yeah, you have to be thinking, should I be getting this card? Should I be getting Scrum using tokens or keys? Yeah, that's the dilemma. That's the only dilemma. Alright, so yeah. I mean, if let's say you have Jean Grey but don't have Shaw, you will be wondering, you know, how many and you are a little bit low on keys, a little bit low on tokens. I don't know. This kind of resource management, this kind of resource allocation is what makes this entire spotlight system so annoying. It really is very annoying. I do know that in terms of tokens versus keys, we are getting more cards with this keys system, but it sure doesn't feel good. Alright, so in summary, this week is a fantastic week. The only problem is your resource allocation. Alright, see you guys